The problem is packaging is what protects the product all the way to the customer. When it's not designed or controlled properly, as you mentioned, you end up with damage in transit, which leads to higher return rates. It can lead to a poor customer experience when they unbox the product. In a lot of cases, the product is fine. It just doesn't arrive that way.
Sustainable packaging is a big trend that we've seen over the course of the last year, with companies working to adopt new packaging specifications that are more eco-friendly. But it's important to keep in mind that whenever you're changing your packaging specifications, that can come with trade-offs. It can affect the durability of your packaging. It can lead to transit damage. It can affect the consumer experience. And so today we are talking about the quality risks that come from changing your packaging specifications and how to manage those risks. So Andy, thank you for joining me today. Today we're talking about changing your package specifications and how that affects quality. Now, how often do you see packaging getting overlooked? Because oftentimes people will focus on the quality of their actual product, but they might neglect to focus on their packaging specifications and the quality of that packaging. So how often do you see that getting overlooked, and what kind of problems can that cause?
Billy, excellent question and overview of packaging. I think one of the biggest things that I see or that we see is packaging is overlooked more often than it should be, especially when compared to the product itself. You asked about improving packaging specifications, and I would go back a step further and say the first thing is creating product specifications. A lot of companies and teams put a lot of effort into creating product specs, technical specs, but packaging is often created as a secondary detail until an issue arises. The problem is packaging is what protects the product all the way to the customer. When it's not designed or controlled properly, as you mentioned, you end up with damage in transit, which leads to higher return rates. It can lead to a poor customer experience when they unbox the product. And so we've often seen dual packaging specifications for something that's being sold online versus going into retail. But a lot of customers now are mixing their inventory in warehouses so they can shift inventory that may go to a brick and mortar to online. So they're aligning their package specifications or design across the sales channel. In a lot of cases, the product is fine. It just doesn't arrive that way.
Okay, so the product might be fine, but if you have issues with your packaging, it won't be fine after transit. So really, we want to think about creating those package specifications, as you said, so that we can take steps to verify that those specifications are being met. Now, when, we often inspect a lot of products and packaging at the factory for our clients. And so what are the most common issues that you see with packaging, and what kind of downstream impact can those issues have?
The most common issues that we see with packaging are material changes, inconsistent construction, and poor protective design. One of the biggest issues that we see is thinner corrugate. Burst strength testing is very common. There's a lab test that can be done, but not every factory has that equipment. And it really isn't cost effective to send corrugated in to be tested with every shipment or every batch. So there are tests that can be conducted in the field by inspector, whether that use a chopstick or some type of material to poke through the corrugated. You can test the resistance and whether or not it truly is 200 pounds of PSI corrugated or not. Another issue we see is weaker seals on items that are sealed, be it liquid or powder, poor fit inside the packaging, so things move around. There's inadequate cushioning. Those are all issues that can lead to damaged product and are a result of design. Another issue that we see is labeling or barcode issues that create problems downstream in logistics. Many retailers have chargebacks if dimensions are off on the master carton, the weight is off, and these things are printed on the carton and they're off. That's an issue. If the barcodes don't scan, that's another issue. With more automation in DCs and distribution centers, it's critical that the barcodes can be scanned. They're properly adhere to the master carton. And so these are things that are common. They're issues. They're all, in a lot of cases, pretty basic. And if they're followed, will minimize the issues downstream. Will minimize the issues with damaged goods, delays in the distribution, and some cases, entire shipments needing to be reworked because of a packaging or a label issue. Again, it's not one big failure. It's small decisions that reduce the margin for error.
Okay, so really there are all kinds of things that can go wrong with packaging, such as whether it's the seals or inadequate cushioning, and issues with labeling and barcodes can definitely have a big negative impact downstream. And so with all these things in mind, there's a lot of issues that can come up. So how do importers actually catch these issues while their products are at the factory?
Ways that importers can catch packaging issues early is to treat packaging as part of the product, not just as an afterthought, creating the specifications that are clearly documented and communicated with your factory, validating the materials that are being used, incorporating packaging checks as part of your quality control process, whether that be in the pre-production stage, at the design stage, working with a packaging engineer, working with the factory, working with a testing lab partner to ensure that the packaging that you have designed will meet your needs to ensure that the product that you are shipping reaches the end consumer without any damage or defects, and not just focusing on the product itself. At the factory level, things that can be done are carton drop tests, which also can be incorporated into an inspection checklist, seal integrity checks, verifying that the packaging matches the approved specifications. And the earlier that these issues are caught, the less expensive they are to fix. Once the shipment leaves the factory, your options become much more limited. Packaging is invisible when it works, but very expensive when it doesn't.
So really, importers want to be taking the steps to catch these issues as early as possible so that they can maintain those lower costs by doing things such as carton drop tests and including packaging as part of the quality control process, and not, just looking at the product, but also looking very carefully at the packaging. So thank you, Andy, for those insights about packaging quality control. And if you need that person on the ground at your facility to do those product and packaging checks, we have inspectors available in 32 countries. So be sure to reach out to us, and you can do that on our website, and we'd be happy to talk to you about how we can help you with your quality control efforts. So be sure to like and subscribe to our channel, and we look forward to talking more with you in the future. So take care.